Cool. So I'll get started. And if anybody else joins in, that'll be great. But I'll get started. It should just be a quick one today, quick social media roundup. First of all, thanks very much for joining me. I'm Pumelo, one of um, the relationship managers and course instructors here at Lightful. As I say, today I'm going to take you through a quick social media roundup of Q2. So highlighted some things that I think will be useful for you, and then we'll go through some of those social media updates, and then some updates looking forward as well. If you have any questions or you lose the screen that I'm sharing or you can't hear me, please just pop them into the chat box, and I'll try and keep an eye on that as well. And then we'll have some time for questions at the end as well. So yeah, just pop any questions you have in the chat box and then we can come to those at the end. Excellent. So getting started then. Yeah, as I say, it'll just be a quick webinar just to cover what's changed in the world of social media in the last couple of months. Obviously, a lot has changed in the world in the last couple of months, so I'll touch on that as well. And then we'll very quickly look forward to some social media updates, which I think will be really useful for charities to be aware of in the next coming months. And then we'll finish off with some questions as well. Cool. So that big question, what's changed in the world of social media? Quite a lot, actually. So over the last few months, obviously, we're all in lockdown now. So, a lot has changed in the world in total, and that's had a huge knock-on effect on social media usage. So, while usage of most mobile apps has remained kind of steady during the coronavirus pandemic, social media app usage has actually exploded during lockdown. And this is according to new data from Nielsen, who I stole this graph from. And why that matters, why I thought I'd point that out today is, prior to the pandemic, consumers and tech companies were both becoming really aware of overuse of social media and actually actively trying to limit it. So in a time when people, can't connect with their friends and family in person, companies have actually put those efforts on pause. So it's kind of been that over the last few months, it's been that reverse effect from people being really aware of trying to reduce the amount of time they spent in social media. Companies are actually putting more effort into social media, so that because it's now the way in which people are connecting around the world. And then just going through the numbers very quickly, prior to the pandemic, which you can see in this graph, social media usage for most of January, February, and early March kind of remained relatively flat at around sort of 20% of the total mobile app usage, according to Nielsen's data. But from the beginning of mid-March, when when the lockdown came into effect and people were stopped from leaving their homes, social media app usage began to increase significantly. And now it kind of consumes around 25% of all mobile usage for adults around the world. So that's a huge increase in just a few months. So that's something just to be really aware of. So obviously, more people are on social than before. So that's really, really important to take into account when you're planning campaigns specific for this time. So that kind of sets the scene of the updates that I'm going to share with you today. So just be aware the whole way as we go through this, that there's this increase in audience size on the various social media apps. Oh, sorry, flying ahead. So first thing the first kind of major update I'll show you is from Facebook. So Facebook have released a new feature which is called Facebook Messenger Room. And this is kind of in response to the increase that I've just increase of usership that I just talked about. So video calling software is as popular as ever. Now, Zoom has been a massive beneficiary of the recent rise in video conferencing software, which again has been brought on by this pandemic and the fact that everybody is now on lockdown and working remotely and unable to meet in person. But there are actually, there are other players in the market too, other than Zoom. So with this growth in the market, it was obviously inevitable that Facebook would get involved. Facebook Messenger Room is their answer to Zoom. As Facebook explains in a blog post, Messenger Rooms isn't a separate app, but rather it's a feature that can be launched from the existing Facebook app or their Messenger app. Something it has over Zoom is the fact that anyone can join your video chat, provided they receive a link. So with Zoom, you have to download the app to be able to access Zoom links. Whereas with Facebook Messenger Rooms, you don't actually have to have the app. You can send friends a link, and they can just access your video call or video chat using that link that you send them. The major difference, I think, with Zoom is that it's targeted for social use as opposed to businesses. So it only has a maximum of 50 participants allowed in a video chat. You can create sub rooms for smaller chats, and you can create virtual backgrounds to spice your chats up a bit. So that's a la Zoom. You can have those fancy, which you can kind of see in this image. You can have fancy backgrounds and to add a bit of life to your video chats. Facebook have said they'll be rolling these features out in the near future, so they'll continue to add filters and things like that. So just be aware of those upcoming things as well. And it's quite easy to use. So all you have to do is download and open the Facebook Messenger app. Just make sure it's the most up-to-date version. Then all you have to do is create a Facebook profile. Obviously, if you don't already have one, log into your account, head to the chats page, and then select create a room button, and set the activity and the privacy settings for the room, and proceed to invite page, and then choose who you want to join. So that's a huge thing, actually, in terms of privacy. Zoom has come under fire over the last few months in terms of privacy, and Facebook have tried to emphasize the fact that this is a little bit more secure, because you're able to just invite specific people to your video chat. So they have to have that link that you send them to access your video chat. Whereas Zoom, although they have tightened up on their privacy settings, they have come under fire. So that's Facebook's response to that security question around video chats. There's some key opportunities that I've tried to highlight in terms of its usage for charities. So as I mentioned, first big thing is, unlike Zoom, Facebook Messenger Rooms is free and it doesn't have a time limit. So with apps like Zoom, although they do have a free account available, you're quite limited. There's some certain limitations with that free account. So I think with Zoom, you can only have up to 100 participants, and your calls are limited to 40 minutes if you have the free version. Whereas with Facebook, there's no time limit. Although again, you are limited to only 50 participants on a call. Facebook has more of a community feel than Zoom, and people may be likely to respond to events in a more familiar platform. So that's, again, thinking about your audience and your users. So which one are they going to respond better to? Something like Zoom, which they may not have heard of before, or something like Facebook, which they're already really familiar with. Another key opportunity is the fact that charities can host virtual events, and then they can actually integrate Facebook's fundraising tools in their video chats. That'll be really useful. Also, Rooms takes priority on Facebook timelines, so even above stories. So charities hosting an event in Rooms can attract the attention of all followers as they log on. So it's right at the top of the Facebook feed. And then last link to highlight again is that the fact that, you know, supporters familiar with Facebook could be more likely to host virtual fundraisers for you with their audience on your behalf. Rooms is less intense than a Facebook live event for those not familiar with live streaming and virtual events. So again, it allows them to be able to host fundraisers within their small groups and their small communities without having to go live to their wider Facebook audience groups. There's some key benefits there. It'd be interesting to hear if any of you have tried this new feature yet, or if it's something that you would be interested in trying. And sticking with Facebook, there's another update that they've just released, and again, this has been brought on by the increase in the use of live streaming since the start of lockdown. So whether people are doing, you know, home workout videos, live cooking sessions, live faith services, etc., this is really brought about to cater those sorts of things. So Facebook have decided to expand some of the features it offers on its various apps to make live videos a little bit more useful. So going into those in a bit more detail. What's new in terms of live? The first one, live with, isn't actually isn't technically a new feature, but basically Facebook have brought back live with, which allows you to add another person to your live video from anywhere in the world. Secondly, you'll be able to mark events as online only events, which you can then integrate with Facebook Live. So you can actually broadcast these events to anybody that's signed up for that event on Facebook. Facebook are also planning to add the ability to charge for entrance into the live events, which is a really great fundraising opportunity for charities. To help you raise money for causes, you can now add donate button to live videos, wherever nonprofit fundraisers are available. If your connection, this is actually quite key as well, if your connection is a bit dodgy, or you know you're low on data, you can actually join live videos with audio on only now, which uses less data, makes it a bit more inclusive because it allows people to still take part if they are in, you know, a more rural location and they don't have the right connectivity. And then some opportunities with this. So as I mentioned, it's a bit more inclusive. It's a bit more of an inclusive experience for supporters without the ability to access it via the internet. You know, live streams with guests are always more engaging. So that ability to add someone else, whether it's a supporter or someone else from your team, it gives your audience a different feel as opposed to just one person talking at the audience. It gives you, you know, your supporters can now meet a member of your team if they're joining in on an event that's run by you, or you can share hosting duties with a friend on their own events. So it just adds a different dynamic to that live feature. Paid for events add exclusivity to some content, and you know, it gives you an opportunity to raise money for your cause. So again, that's larking back to that, the fact that you can now you can make Facebook events paid for. And then the fact that it's integrated with a donate button means, you know, it doesn't get lost in your page or amongst the comments. So it's really, really easy for people to just find that donate button and click that donate button. Something to be aware of, though, is the fact that you don't get data of the people attending or donating via Facebook Live, which is, quite a big feature for traditional fundraising events. Services like Give Panel can help you with stewardship of those donating, and it's worth looking into. So just make sure you keep kind of separate log of the people that are attending those events that you're hosting on Facebook, so you can then follow up after and add them to your kind of regular donor or potential donor journey. Moving on to another Facebook owned app, Instagram Live. So again, really tapping into this live theme, this live streaming theme, which you'll see throughout this slide deck. Here, what's new? So you can now actually watch and comment on live videos from your desktop. So you can follow along with whatever the class is. So whether, again, it's a yoga class on your big screen, or you can listen live to a performance as you work. So it's just adding another element, or another kind of way of viewing live streaming. So previously, live streaming's been limited to mobile apps, the mobile version of Instagram, but now you can do that from your desktop. And again, this is catering to the fact that people are accessing this information in different ways. So people are at home now and more likely to be on their desktops. So why not reach them where they can see your content? So after you go live, you'll soon be able to save. You can actually save your live videos to Instagram TV, so they stick around longer than just the 24-hour limit in the stories. And then it's easier for your followers and your audience to find that as well. And it obviously just doesn't disappear as it has done previously. And again, this is just to cater to the fact that more people are at home now on different devices, so this change really allows you to reach them on the devices that they're viewing, whereas previously you're limited to mobile. And then lastly, I thought I'd highlight some updates to TikTok, which I'm not overly familiar with TikTok, and I haven't used it a great deal in the past. Have any of you tried TikTok or used TikTok in terms of speaking to your audiences or engaging with audiences? There's some interesting updates. So they've developed a donation sticker for TikTok, which I'll tell you a bit more about now. But yeah, this is something that's probably worth looking into also. So what are donation stickers? So they're essentially a new in-app donation feature that creators can include in their videos and live streams to raise funds for charities and causes that they most care about. So if I was creating a TikTok video, I'd now have the option to add this donation sticker, which is and that graphic on the right is what it looks like. So they're only available in select countries. So donation stickers are basically clickable donation buttons that you can embed directly in your TikTok videos, just like other stickers on the platform. So currently, it's only available for in the initial rollout, at least. It's only available for the British Red Cross and Help for Musicians. So they're the first charities to benefit from this, but TikTok is planning on rolling out and adding more charities to that list again. So that's something to be aware of. So again, it allows users to raise funds. It's really, really easy for viewers to donate. Everything is in app, so they don't have to leave the app. All they do is click the donate button, and it takes them to a separate window where they can specify the amount of money they want to give, and that's that separate window is run through an app called Tiltify. So they're not actually leaving the app, which is really good for in terms of the user experience. But yeah, that's a really, really handy feature that TikTok have added, and it's kind of catching up because donation buttons are now available on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So it's just another way of reaching a slightly different audience that you might find on TikTok. And then lastly, looking forward, so as I mentioned, Facebook expanding its video calling capabilities to its other apps. So you can video call on Instagram and then also WhatsApp. So WhatsApp calls are another way to stay in touch with friends whilst you're in lockdown. Soon you'll be available to have a group voice and video calls with up to 8 people. I think currently it's limited to 4 people. So they've expanded that slightly. And as before, these calls are secured with end-to-end encryption, so no one else can view or listen to your private conversations, not even WhatsApp itself, which is, again, is really, really key because people are concerned with privacy. A lot of audiences are new to video calling technology, so it's really clear to specify to kind of address those security concerns and make sure that you're making your audiences, if this is something that you're going to use, make sure your audience know that it's really, really secure and it's easy to use as well. LinkedIn have announced an additional 6 free courses on LinkedIn Learning to help you manage your stress and build mindfulness whilst you're in lockdown due to COVID-19. So again, it's a really different world everybody's living in now. So everybody's working remotely. That comes along with new stresses that people might not be used to. So it's worth pinpointing people to some things like this, and really, really useful for your staff as well within your organizations to just check out some of these free courses. Because you're still under the same pressures as before, which can sometimes be heightened by the fact we're working in this new environment. So it's always worth staying on top of is your well-being and mindfulness. And then lastly, it's a slightly odd one, but it's something that we've been seeing more of in terms of fundraising, digital fundraising, is live streaming of games. So that's become even more, we've seen an increase and even more of a rise in live streaming and gaming and the collaboration with gaming sites. So Twitch is a huge one. If you haven't heard about Twitch, check it out. In the last few months. So again, this ties into the fact that people are spending more time at home. So, are looking at new forms of entertainment. So Twitch has seen a huge increase of users in the last few months. And Twitch is basically a site that allows gamers to live stream their gaming videos, and they have huge audiences, and you have, Twitch stars that can pull into up to 2 million people on so essentially this is people watching someone play a video game and comment on that video game, and allows people to kind of interact with that user, the person playing the video game. He can see who's watching, he can see the comments as he plays this video game, and it's a huge growing network, and it actually has its own stars and its own influencers. So companies like Twitch are now making it easier for charities to kind of benefit from this rise by making it easier for viewers to donate to causes. So a gamer who's creating a Twitch live stream can now add a donate button to their streams, which viewers can then simply click, similar to the example I used for TikTok before. Viewers can then just really easily click in order to donate. So that's something that's worth having a look at. Look at your area, try and see if there are any Twitch stars that have a particular affinity with your cause or your location, and then see how you can engage them so they can add they can start donating. They can add a donate button that's specific for your charity. And I think Twitch currently has a list of charities that it works with. So that's worth investigating as well. How can you get onto that list of partner charities, as it were? And that's all I had to share with you this week, or for this roundup. Sorry if I've flown through that. I wanted to leave loads of time for questions as well. So please do let me know if you have any questions, and I'll try and answer those for you now. And if I can't answer anything, I can take it away and come back to you with an answer at a later date. So yeah, please fire away if you have any questions. So it doesn't look like we've got any questions, but and I recognize I flew through that. So what I'll do is I'll make sure I share the slide deck with you, along with my notes, and I'll put some links in there as well, so you can go in and find out more information about the different apps and different features and updates I've talked about. But yeah, please do not hesitate to get in touch if you do have any questions. As I say, I'll do my best to get back to you or at least point you in the right direction. But yeah, thank you very much for joining. If you have any feedback, and if you have any information, or if you're aware on any key social media features and updates that we've missed out on and you'd like to hear more about, please do get in touch and let us know. But other than that, thank you very much for joining, and I look forward to speaking to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.